You ever thought about ending it all? You may be thinking that's a crazy way to start a video, but today's topic, cave diving, I believe it goes hand in hand with suicide. You may be thinking, what is cave diving? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. You go into a cave and you explore it. And it's not just, a big cave, you'd think, oh, cavernous, that's big. No, these people are sick. They're sick people. They love going into little holes and almost getting trapped and or suffocating, or in some cases, getting trapped and suffocating. So if you haven't figured it out yet, today I wanted to go down the Wikipedia rabbit hole and look at cave diving incidents. Because cave diving to me is something that no one should ever do. It's just inane, there's no point to it. I feel like there's better ways to get that adrenaline, but anyway, these people know better, I guess. Floyd Collins. For the musical, see Floyd Collins musical. Although that is very interesting. I don't want to do that. I don't want to see Floyd Collins musical. One, because I've never heard of it. Two, doesn't sound very enticing. William Floyd Collins, what was with everyone back in the day using their middle name as their first name? Is it because everyone was named William and John and Forbert? So they'd kind of, use their middle name to stand out from the rest? I think I just answered my own question. That's probably exactly what was happening. William Floyd Collins was an American cave explorer who became trapped and died in what became Mammoth Cave National Park. William. What were you doing in the cave? Oh, you're exploring the cave? Well, when the cave gets half your body height and width, stop exploring the cave. It's not for you. You don't need to go there. The incident earned major media attention during the efforts to rescue him. During the early 20th century, in an era known as Kentucky Cave Wars, sounds like a terrible spin-off of Storage Wars or something. It's something I don't want to see. Spelunkers and property owners entered into a bitter competition to utilise the bounty of caves for commercial profit from tourists, who paid to see the caves. There mustn't be much going on in Kentucky if the only tourist venue is caves. Just a shitload of caves. Yeah, it's cool to, go in caves and look at caves. It's very interesting. Jenolan Caves, for example, in South Australia. That's cool. I've been there. But I feel like you see one cave, you've seen all caves. When I go and travel somewhere, my first thought isn't, oh, I wonder where the local cave is. In 1917 and 18, Collins discovered and commercialised Great Crystal Cave in the Flint Ridge Cave system. But the cave was remote and visitors were few. Oh, I'm absolutely gobsmacked. They didn't want to go see a cave, Floyd. Collins had an ambition to find another cave he could open to the public, closer to the main roads, and agreed with a neighbour to open up Sand Cave, a small cave on the neighbour's property. What is your obsession with caves, Floyd? What is the obsession? You know that caves isn't the only tourist business venture to exist. I know there were definitely people talking to him, suggesting what about a travelling circus of some kind? Some type of show, and he's like, I don't know if that'd work, I don't know if the circus is a big thing, but caves, that's huge. People love caves. People love exploring caves, they like looking at caves, they like going in caves, and I think it's a big monetary gain coming in for me with this cave that I'm opening. It's no, Floyd, no. The only reason anyone's going to go to your cave, Floyd, is if you get stuck in there and they have to go and get you out, which ironically, I believe happened. On January 30th, 1925, while working to enlarge the small passage in the sand cave, Collins became trapped in a narrow crawlway 55 feet below ground. The rescue operation to save him became a national media sensation, and one of the first major news stories to be reported using the new technology of broadcast radio. See what I mean, Floyd? You were trying to make the cave habitable for your tourists, and the only reason tourists came was because you got trapped in the cave. After 4 days during which rescuers were able to bring water and food to Collins, a rock collapsed in the cave, closed the entrance passageway, stranding him inside, except for voice contact for another 10 days. Collins died of thirst and hunger compounded by exposure through hypothermia after being isolated for a total of 14 days. 3 days before a rescue shaft reached his position. Collins' body was recovered 2 months later. Although Collins was unknown publicly for most of his lifetime, the fame he gained from the rescue efforts and his death resulted in him being memorialised on his tombstone as the greatest cave explorer ever known. I mean, look, obviously he was very autistic about the caves, okay? He loved caves, and that's fine, okay? That was his little special interest, fine. But you should have done something else, man. Jeez, there was so many other things in the world. Maybe not at that time. It was 1925. They just started using the radio properly. So I guess in a way it makes sense why you're so fixated on caves. There wasn't much going on. Marble Arch Cave's Cradle Hole Tragedy. 3 cavers died on a trip into Lower Cradle Hole on 15th of January 1995. Mostly students from University College Dublin and Dublin Institute of Technology caving clubs. When the 3 were swept away by fast running water and drowned in the low airspace, or duck, which was flooded to the roof on this particular occasion, section of passage between the end lower cradle hole and the grand gallery in the Marble Arch. This is slightly on topic but maybe off topic. I've never been a fan of going into a cave that can flood. There'll be caves near a beach, or they'll be near some type of water, and there's a little bit of water going into them. It's fine. You can walk in there freely. But then, you know, the tide comes up or there's a big downfall and that bitch floods. Which reminds me of another cave diving incident, which we'll talk about in a second. Those killed were Philip Marshall, 20, Brian Patrick Kennedy, 22, and Connolith Cormacan, 21. It's a terrible thing that happened, but off topic, that's a sick name. Connolith Cormacan? That's hard. That's fucking hard. You should be leading men onto the battlefield, okay? You shouldn't be going into caves. A memorial plaque outside Lower Cradle commemorates the disaster, and the entrance remains accessible to the cavers via a gate. 3 oak saplings were also planted on the grassy areas south of the car park by each of the families on the 10th anniversary of the accident. And that's another thing you got to think about when, you know, the adrenaline, I get it. People love the adrenaline, they love doing crazy shit, but you got to think about the other people in your life as well. You know, if you die from doing this dangerous thing, you gotta leave people behind, and that's sad. Going to caves, don't go into caves, whatever, that's none of my business. Personally, I'm not going into the cave. But I feel like when I watch these videos about cave diving disasters and shit that happens, there's always something where it's like, oh, that could have been avoided. You took 2 more seconds to think about this thing, that could have been avoided. Your death could have been avoided. But anyway, I do like the little 3 oak saplings thing, it's really cute. Tham Luang Cave Rescue. In June 2018, a junior association football team became trapped in Tham Luang Nang Non, a cave system in Chiang Rai province, northern Thailand. 12 members of the team aged 11 to 16 and their 25-year-old assistant coach entered the cave on 23rd of June after a practice session. Shortly after they entered, heavy rainfall began and partially flooded the cave system, blocking their way out and trapping them deep within. The one thing that I remember about this cave rescue was Elon Musk calling that guy a pedophile. I remember at the time not many people hating Elon Musk, so a lot of people were like, oh, that was weird, why would you do that? We still like you, but that was off-putting. We should have known. That should have been the first sign when he just called a random rescuer who didn't like his idea a pedophile. I mean, it's really funny coming from the guy who was begging to be on Pedophile Island, to be fair. Efforts to locate the group were hampered by rising water levels and strong currents, and the team were out of contact with the outside world for more than a week. The cave rescue effort expanded into a massive operation amid intense worldwide public interest and involved international rescue teams. On the 2nd of July, after advancing through a narrow passage and muddy waters, British divers John Volathan and Rick Stanton found the group alive on an elevated rock about 4 kilometres from the cave's mouth. 4 kilometres? 4 kilometres? How big is that damn cave? That's what I want to know, because that's a long way. 4 kilometres? That's a pretty decent way. I mean, they were walking a long way before anyone went, my feet are... Oh my god, there's water everywhere. Oh, it's not good. Rescue organisers discussed various options for extracting the group, including whether to teach them basic underwater diving skills to enable their early rescue, to wait until a new entrance to the cave was found or drilled, or to wait for the flood waters to subside by the end of the monsoon season several months later. After days of pumping water from the cave system and a respite from the rainfall, the rescue teams worked quickly to extract the group from the cave before the next monsoon rain, which was expected to bring additional downpours on the 11th of July. Between the 8th and the 10th of July, all 12 boys and their coach were rescued from the cave by an international team. I'm waiting for the part when it tells me about the situation when Elon Musk called that guy a pedophile. I think that's the most interesting part. Am I wrong? The rescue effort involved as many as 100,000 people, including more than 10 divers. Scores of rescue workers, representatives from about 100 governmental agencies, 900 police officers and 2,000 soldiers. That is a lot of people. Is that not the biggest cave rescue ever? I don't know if they've mentioned that and I've just kind of glazed over while reading, but that's got to be up there. 10 police helicopters, 7 ambulances, more than 700 diving cylinders, and the pumping of more than 1 billion litres of water from the cave were required. Salman Kunan, a 37-year-old former Royal Thai Navy SEAL, died of asphyxiation during an attempt to rescue on the 6th of July while returning to a staging base in the cave after delivering diving cylinders to the trapped group. Guy died? I do not remember that bit at all. I was under the guise that everything was hunky-dory and everyone lived. Following in December 2019, rescue diver and Thai Navy SEAL Beirut Pakbara died of a blood infection contracted during the operation. Well, hopefully their families got a shitload of compensation, because they're 2 of the reasons why all those kids lived. Well, I think I'll end it there. Cave diving? Scary as hell. I would advise against it. Exploring caves unsupervised. I wouldn't do it either. Not a good idea. Especially monsoon season. Anyway, like and subscribe. I'll see you later. I'll leave you with the uplifting and very educational words of Maury the Mole. If you see a hole, don't think you're a mole. Walk in the opposite direction and report your detection. Stay away. Stay alert. Be a hero in the dirt. If you see a hole, don't think you're a mole.
I love Shifty Drongo. Shifty. Drongo.